The morning sun, usually a welcome sight over the still surface of Lake Blackwell, felt like a spotlight on a crime scene. I, Ethan Vance, retired firefighter, property rights enthusiast, stood on the edge of my 2-acre lot, staring at the chaos that had consumed my private sanctuary. This land was more than a lot. It was a legacy inherited from my grandfather. I poured $180,000 of my retirement savings into expanding the acreage and $25,000 into renovating the private fishing dock. Crucially, I read property deeds for fun. I knew every boundary, every easement, and every clause in the Lakefront Estate's covenants by heart. My dock was mine, protected by ironclad legal language. That protection meant nothing to Veronica Blackwell, the HOA President. Veronica was also a high-end real estate broker, and she used her title to market exclusive lakefront living to wealthy clients. The breaking point arrived when I returned from Supply Run and found 15 strangers hosting a full-blown barbecue party on my private dock. They were jumping into the lake and treating my grandfather's legacy like a public water park, the centerpiece of Veronica's real estate scam. "Get off my property!" I roared, the words echoing across the water. A few days later, Veronica escalated, hosting a massive party right on my dock, using it as the main staging area for her open house event. I confronted her, holding the original deed. "This is private property, Veronica. Your claim of traditional access rights is complete legal nonsense. The official survey documents confirm there are no recorded easements for the community." She just smirked. "This is about community spirit, Ethan. Your dock offers the best view of the lake." But the deception was already collapsing. Dr. Hawkins, a prominent local investor and potential buyer, stepped forward, documents in hand. "Ms. Blackwell, you personally guaranteed that lake access was a legal part of the purchase agreement for my home. You lied. The evidence was clear. Systematic real estate fraud." Veronica, desperate, called an emergency HOA meeting. She proposed a $75,000 assessment to legally purchase lake access and hire a lawyer to threaten to redraw my property boundaries. But I was prepared. I forced her to admit the truth, using my private access to inflate the perceived value of the surrounding homes had boosted her real estate commissions by 15 to 20% over the last year. Then Susan Walsh, the HOA treasurer and a retired CPA, dropped the first financial bomb. Veronica had unilaterally withdrawn $23,000 from the HOA's emergency reserve fund without authorization, revealing clear corruption. The next weekend, Veronica held a massive Lakefront Festival, inviting Channel 7 News to legitimize her claim. She used forged contracts and fraudulent permit applications to pull it off. I attended, live-streaming the entire event on my phone, right in front of the Channel 7 cameras and 300 neighbors. I publicly declared the entire festival unlawful and stated that Veronica was committing a felony fraud regarding the permits. She literally flipped out, screaming, "Community property? You are a selfish monster." The scene was gold for my live feed. The financial digging continued. My corporate attorney, David Kim, discovered the dark truth. Veronica had been illegally collecting $45,000 in premium utility fees from new homeowners over 3 years. Worse, she had committed a federal felony and RICO, racketeering, fraud. She officially listed my private dock as an HOA community asset on the master community insurance policy. This was felony insurance fraud. The consequences were catastrophic. This fraud put the entire community's insurance contract at risk of immediate cancellation, threatening to cause 47 families to lose their homes as their mortgage companies would call the loans. We immediately formed a command center. Me, attorney David Kim, retired CPA Susan Walsh, and Special Agent Patricia Thompson from the State Insurance Fraud Unit. The plan was set, simultaneous legal strikes, including filing with the FBI, freezing Veronica's assets, and revoking her real estate license. Veronica, realizing the trap, hired a lawyer and immediately directed her son to vandalize my dock to destroy evidence. She also filed a fake harassment complaint against me. But the FBI was already listening. They had recorded conversations about her plans to relocate assets and flee. Special Agent Thompson moved the arrest timeline up. The climax arrived at the last-ditch 6 a.m. HOA meeting Veronica organized to strip me of my membership. I was there. Before she could speak, I publicly read the federal criminal indictment and announced that her arrest would take place within a half hour. In a fit of desperation, Veronica lunged at me with a box cutter. She was immediately tackled and arrested by FBI agents who were waiting nearby for violating bail conditions and witness intimidation. Justice served with precision. Veronica pleaded guilty to avoid a 20-year sentence. She was sentenced to 4 years in federal prison, permanently lost her real estate license, and was ordered to pay full restitution of $127,000 to the family she defrauded. Community renewal. The community elected a new, ethical board, Susan Walsh as president, DR, Hawkins as treasurer, with strict transparency requirements. Insurance premiums dropped by 15% after eliminating the fraudulent risk requirements. New legacy. I established a community legal aid fund and a scholarship program, both of which focus on HOA reform and environmental protection. I became a state-certified HOA ombudsman and began writing a book to help other communities fight systematic fraud. My private fishing lake was secured, Veronica was gone, and the peace I had craved finally returned, earned through a hard-fought battle against organized greed. Tell me what you think. Veronica claimed her theft was justified because the dock offered the best community view. Was Marcus's ultimate revenge, ruining her career and sending her to federal prison too harsh for a simple HOA issue? Let us know in the comments.